What's up, guys? Welcome back once again to another episode of Eddie G's Comic Culture. I'm your host, Eddie G, here bringing it to you guys live as I usually do. If you guys are just tuning into the show right about now, as one thing you guys will always know about me, along with my regular viewers, I always start off my shows with a special shout out. First and foremost, the show is still sponsored by the great folks over at Black Apparel. Sending a special shout out first and foremost, to a good friend and dear brother of mine, named Kevin Zeeright. He's been doing some lovely work on my show. Although all the wonderful contributions that he's been doing, literally has been making the show stand out, and I'm very impressed and happy and proud for what I'm doing right about now. Make sure you guys, if you have the opportunity, to check him out. He's got a great website at www.blackapparelblk.com. He's got some awesome content and some excellent merchandise if you guys are looking for some gear. So whenever you get the opportunity, make sure you give him a look-see. And also, of course, I'm gonna start sending out. As I always usually do on my show, I send a special shout out to my friends on Instagram. First and foremost, this young up and coming writer, talented cat that I know. His page goes by the name of the Strictly Comedy Vault. He constantly keeps it refreshed with awesome content, photos regarding all comic books and films, and Funko figures as well. If you're a big collector of those, make sure you check him out if you have an account as well. And then Blu-ray Dan, who's actually an inspiration, an inspiration as to what I'm doing right about now. The man has great content on his Instagram page regarding Blu-rays. And he also has, more importantly, he also has a YouTube channel as well, where he does unboxings and insightful reviews for Blu-rays and Ultra 4K DVDs and Blu-rays as well, for films both old and new. So make sure you check him out as well whenever you guys have the opportunity and the chance. And sending also another special shout out to a dear friend of mine in New York City, Dennis Knight. He's the writer of the Cross comic book published by Pronto Comics. He also is going to be actually appearing next week in the New York Comic Con at the Jacob Javits Center. Excuse me. So I'm going to keep you guys posted with his booth number to make sure if you're in the area, you have tickets to go visit, and you want to check out some great independent work. He's got a nice catalog going for himself. Make sure you guys check it out. It's excellent. First and foremost, also before I start, I want to send an apology to all of my viewers and my friends. I haven't been consistent this week as, unfortunately, if you guys haven't seen my previous episodes, I was doing a Batman and Batman Returns tribute for my late brother who passed about 5 years ago. It was his birthday. Supposedly, it was his birthday this week, and usually, it's a very difficult time around this time of year, as it is. As I spend a lot of time to reflect, and it's not that I didn't want to do the show, but I just didn't have the correct mind state. As you can see, the last two episodes, I had to take a few sips of the Cabernet, actually, and I do apologize if it's noticeable for that. But I'm gonna be back on I'm gonna be back on track again, and back on top of my game to make sure that I keep this show consistent, because I love talking to you guys. It's the feedback is just unbelievable, and I love the support that I'm getting from all my friends and family, and from you guys as well, brand new viewers. So I won't leave you. I won't let you hanging down anymore. So all that being said, I want to discuss this. Let's start off this episode with weekly news. Actually, okay. Not a lot is pretty much. Well, actually, I'm lying. A few things has actually happened this week. Apparently, the new. Damn. I'm so upset right about now because unfortunately I haven't been able to get into my comic book collection as I should have, and I know there's a major storyline going on right about now involving the DC Universe and DC Metal. If you guys know me, I'm an avid DC Comics reader. I'm a DC fan all the way through and through as far as the comic books are concerned. I love Marvel, but as of recent, throughout the last couple of years, I haven't really been a fan. I haven't really been a fan of the work that they've been putting out regarding their titles, and it's been a little frustrating so far, so to speak. But as far as the major publishers are concerned, I've still been an avid DC reader. Awesomely enough, they got that metal storyline that's going on right about now, and it looks fantastic, honestly. it sucks because at this point in time when I'm the type of person where I get so aggravated and frustrated when I miss issues, and it just literally just puts me to a point like I know I'm gonna end up having to buy the trades because that's exactly where my money's gonna really go to. I know I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have like at least $200 worth of trades I'm gonna have to blow off on, because it's just what it is. But it looks awesome from what I've seen so far. I've been avoiding all spoilers on the stories because I didn't want to know anything regarding so far. I like to go into these things fresh. I need the surprise, that shock factor of what's going on to hit me when I first read these books. So it looks like it's actually in full swing. A lot of stuff is happening. They had some pretty good previews I seen today regarding the Justice League variant covers coming out in November. Of course, due to the film coming up, it looks pretty badass. I'm actually pretty excited. Awesomely enough, we're gonna have the apparently it looks like we're getting the final Justice League trailer, and it's going to be attached with the one and only dun 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 the Blade Runner 2049 film, which is about 1 week away, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, 1 week away from now, we will be seeing the sequel to the film that was released 35 years ago. I am extremely ecstatic about this. I'm nervous. I'm cautiously optimistic to see what's going on. Blade Runner is one of my top five. Is one of my top films of all time, honestly. Where I was just watching the original about 2 weeks ago, and I literally cannot wait to see what's going to happen in this film. It's going to be a pretty long movie at that, too. It's 2 hours and 43 minutes. That's the runtime that they have so far on the internet regarding the feature. But it's going to be pretty badass. I definitely have to see this in IMAX. And, I cannot wait for this movie. I'm keeping my fingers crossed from what I've seen so far. I've only seen one clip so far from the movie regarding Dave Bautista's character, because I do know he's a replicant at this point. But from what I've seen in the visual, it looks like in that one clip that they've shown, it looks quite reminiscent of the original. So I'm really anticipating to see what the aura, the vibe of this film is going to turn out to be like, and it's exciting to say the least. I want to know what's going to happen. What happened with Deckard in the time being between 2020 and 2049. It's going to be insane, man. It's definitely going to be insane. So it's definitely a great deal to see this. It's a lot to be excited for within the next week or so. Then on top of that, we have NY Comic Con happening as well. So there should be some some more announcements coming up regarding that. Awesome news coming from them. I don't, like I said, I try to avoid as much spoilers as I possibly can because I like to go into these things fresh. And I don't know about you guys, but I need that. Like I said, I need that surprise, that wow, that shock factor to hit me. So I'm definitely amped up to see what's going to be coming up within the next 7 days or so. Also, last weekend I finally got to see it in theaters. Unbelievable film. I'm actually debating on seeing it again this weekend because it was. I was literally. I was surprised. I was blown away. It was such a fantastic movie because it's been so long. Once in a while, when it comes to horror movies, it really takes a lot for me to go ahead and take seriously and become scared the way I was. And it really did me. The movie does definitely puts you in a position where you're on pins and needles because, wow, man, the actors and the child actors, the Pennywise, have been fantastic. That was such a great movie, and I definitely recommend it. If you guys have not seen it, make sure you check it out immediately. It's a fantastic film. So, I'm not gonna get into details, of course, or any spoilers, but it was a great movie, man. Definitely a great movie. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with the sequel because I know there's no sequel to the book, but then again, I do have to read the book just to see what kind of, if there's any. I'd like to know if there's any in the reading material if it does leave any openings for a possible continuation. Does it literally leak onto the movie the way it did? But excellent movie. Make sure you guys check it out if you guys have the chance to this weekend. Like I said, I'm a big sci-fi buff. Do everything that you can now. I haven't seen Kingsman Golden Circle from. I'm not too sure what the subtitle is at this point anymore. But I'm not hearing too many good things about it, and it's pretty bad. That's really. It sucks. I mean, I don't really pay attention too much to. Well, that's a lie. I do pay attention to some critic reviews, but for the most part, from what I hear, it's not too. it's pretty much more or less the same of the as the original, and not too much really has been added on to there. So I don't know how that's gonna turn out. And at this point, right about now, if I don't get to see it this weekend, then I don't get to see it this weekend because I am going for Blade Runner 2049 next Saturday night. No matter the 7th of October, it's happening. So awesomely enough, I cannot wait, man. And if you cannot tell my excitement by now, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, some other news this week. James Cameron seems to be doubling down on that Wonder Woman theory, and interestingly enough, I'm on comicbookmovie.com and I'm reading the articles and stuff, and it's really just I don't know what's going on with Mr. Cameron anymore. Like I really don't get it. He's been on such a rut lately with criticizing other films. Like, hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I understand that everyone can feel that certain way. But his recent opinions and his recent criticisms regarding Wonder Woman, and this stems all the way. And to be honest with you, this guy it really stems all the way back to the Force Awakens. It's really starting to become a little tedious at the point. Like I think he's just it's coming off more, and so I think he's coming off more so now that as a man with sour, who's just sour grapes about these other movies that have been coming out since Avatar, and kind of like making waves, and because it's I don't know, man. Like I don't know what's going on with the guy. Like I loved his movies back in the '80s and the '90s. I'm not gonna lie, with the exception, of course, with the exceptions, of course, of the last two features. But Terminator, the first two Terminators, the Aliens, and The Abyss and True Lies, like James Cameron had like a real knack for like filmmaking back in the days, man. And then all of a sudden, his storytelling just went to shit. If I could be so correct, if I could be so blunt about it personally, I think his storytelling has gone to shit. I mean, and it started with the Titanic. I really don't. Till this day, I don't understand exactly what's the big. His last two films have been so overly hyped that when I finally saw them, I was literally underwhelmed. I mean, so I really don't understand what this hard on that he's got for some reason to throw Wonder Woman under the bus, and the Force Awakens, but most recently Wonder Woman, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I loved Wonder Woman. I was emotionally invested in Wonder Woman. If I could actually and putting all cards on the table, I could actually see Wonder Woman 20 times a day before I could finish watching half of Avatar. I can't even get through all of Avatar without falling asleep. It just surrounded the hype surrounded it so much that it was just beyond boring. And mind you, the first Avatar had a few characters, had a few good, well-known actors like Michelle Rodriguez, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver. I believe I think Kevin Nash was in there if I'm not mistaken. I have no idea. I don't remember. Sam Worthington, I could give a shit about, honestly. I don't really care for Sam Worthington, but yeah, those were the main star the main star power of of the first film, and to say that crap about Wonder Woman, the way he's tossing it under the bus, and then to show that one, apparently Avatar 2 began production this week, and now it's all a bunch of kids. So at this point, it's just like I'm like, this looks even less interesting than the first one. There's nobody from the original cast returning for the sequel. So this just looks even worse than the first one to me. It looks less interesting, and like I said, I don't get what's going on with the man. I don't understand like what's his whole why does he got a hard on for recent films anyways, and it's getting me to a point where I'm realizing like I'm hoping that I think at this it's starting to look like maybe he needs a good flop. Like a good box office bomb to humble his spirits, so he can get back to his roots and the drawing board again. But Trying to compare Wonder Woman now to Sarah Connor, come on, man! Like seriously, it's not even like you're that is such a stretch. It's not even funny because Wonder Woman has been out long way longer than Sarah Connor. If anything, Wonder Woman was the outline for what Sarah Connor was in the second Terminator 2. So this bullshit about Wonder Woman being objectified in the recent picture, that's just a steaming pile of garbage. I'm sorry, I can't take that seriously, and it's not that and I don't take and I know that he's a well-established filmmaker. I'm not taking that away from the guy, but I just think his opinion it's way off the mark, way off the mark. It's one thing to say that I wasn't. If he would have just said something like, "Oh, I wasn't as I wasn't too thrilled about it as most of the people were or the rest of the country was," then I could understand and I could respect that opinion. But he goes into detail about objectifying women with Wonder Woman herself, and it was just a stupid, ridiculous opinion. And like I said before, like I think it's real. I think it's more the obnoxiousness of him actually having the two highest grossing films of all time that are and unfortunately but unfortunately those two higher grossing the highest grossing excuse me, the two highest grossing films of all time are also the most overrated films of all time. Titanic was completely overrated, as well as Avatar, as well as Avatar. None of those movies held the magic that his previous features had. So that's a main problem for me right there. I can't take him seriously at this point with his criticism with these recent films when his last two features were really uninspired. They're not, and you guys could disagree with me. It is what it is. I'm sorry, but this is my opinion. The last two films were completely uninspired. If you like those sappy love stories, or even well, not even sappy love stories, because even the love story in itself just didn't feel original. It didn't feel organic. I'm sorry, it was just a bad. They were just bad films for me. I couldn't get through them. Neither one, literally, and they were both what 3 hours long. They were both 3 hours long. So it's like, what the hell is this guy doing? Why is this dragging so long? And even more so, why are people so enamored with these movies? Like, and it's just and I get it now. It's not the story. It's the visual effects. It's the visuals that these films provide. But you know what? In today's world, and cinema has literally greatly expanded ever since Avatar, ever since Titanic. So it's not really, how honestly can you hold that how honestly can you really honestly hold the level of the stature of those films to date now? I'm sorry, I can't. I personally can't. Considering everything that all the progress that's been made in cinematography and CGI. I just can't. I really can't. So I think at this point it looks like I think the sequel to Avatar needs to be a bomb, so to speak, so he can actually humble his spirits. Because I don't know, he just seems like a old. He's coming off like a grouch right about now, like a grouchy old man who doesn't want nothing to do with the new generation and just wants to you know hold his own work in high regards and high esteem, and that's fine. But don't try to put any don't try to don't try to create some controversial bullshit that it's not even true, just to prove a point, just to prove a ridiculous point, because it just makes no sense. You're embellishing your opinion. He's taking the minuscule facts of certain things in a movie, and he's just completely embellishing them to a whole nother level where it's not even recognizable anymore. So I really don't care for his take on these movies anymore. Like, I'm sorry, but when you deliver Avatar 2, and God knows how long it's gonna take. That's the longest damn sequel I've ever seen in production ever since. You know what I'm saying? 11 damn years after the fact? I mean, honestly speaking, think about it. How long has, not shit. Man, you better have some sort of master. You better have some damn fine screenwriters there, man. You really do. I hope he does, because if he's doing, the time it took for him to make Avatar Part 2 and God knows what the hell else, and even from what I've seen so far, a lot of people are just everybody's gonna bite the bait. Everybody, he's got his fans. He's gonna have his fans no matter what. I'm not mad about that. I'm just not obsessing over his work as of recent. You know, um, but I call it like it is, man. If it sucks, it sucks. And if it doesn't look intriguing, it doesn't look intriguing. If it doesn't look interesting, it doesn't look interesting. You know. But moving right along. That's enough of that. Also, I've read a new article today about Danny Elfman's involvement into the Justice League, and what's interestingly enough, it seems like he's actually returning back to the original character, like the first two, the main two characters, Superman and Batman. Of course, he looks like he's bringing the original themes back, which is awesome to say the least, because it definitely, now this movie, if it didn't look like a, if it didn't sound like a soft reboot beforehand with the involvement of Joss Whedon, it definitely looks like one now. And in particularly so when we have when Danny Elfman says that he's gonna actually, that there's that the John Williams theme for Superman is being reused. How can you not, like, man, the emotions the feels right now that I have towards that is just unbelievable. Because, like I said, I've stated before on the show that I love the original John. I love the original the Donner Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman, and a lot of people will talk a lot of crap right about now, because it's always, those movies were the first Super, they were the corny, campy movies, obviously. I love them for what they were, because the product, even with them being the product of their time, there was still a magic about those movies. The first two movies, is realistically speaking, that lives on to this day, honestly. And the fact that he's going back to the roots, and then on top of that, if he goes back and brings the original Batman theme, it's over, dude. It's literally over. It's and in all honesty, like, I know Warner Brothers have been trying so hard to keep this, the reshoots and the involvement of Joss Whedon as a touch up thing. But this here, man, this is a definite this solidifies the fact that this is a soft reboot. I'm sorry. I think this is how I now this is the confirmation that I need, because you don't go back to the drawing board for this. This is going back to square one for both characters. This is basically saying we're reintroducing Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeve and these characters again to I don't know. The excitement itself is so much I can't really explain it, but it's definitely overwhelming, guys. Overwhelming and unbelievable. But I cannot wait, man. I just can't wait. The movies we are in full-fledged movie season now, man, between Blade Runner, between Thor Ragnarok, which I'm also finally excited to see. I've really been waiting for a great Thor movie to happen ever since Thor was in cinemas, and it looks like it's finally gonna be the case with this one. We're in full-fledged cinema mode, man. It's the comic book movie called the comic book movie genre is literally in full force right now. It's going from, I thought it was going from 75 to, like, now it's making a jump from 75 to 150 to, like, warp. And it can't get any better than that, man. Or it could get better, actually. So we'll definitely see about that. But the excitement is it's building up, man. It's finally about to happen. So, with that being said, guys, I'm gonna close this episode out right about now, because it's been I've been wanting to talk to you guys for quite some time, and it's been a lot to get off the chest. But as usual, I will let you guys know what's going on. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you already know where the comment section is. You have any suggestions for future episodes or topics you want to discuss regarding anything from comic book movies to comic book TV shows to comic books, period, to action figures, to 80s culture, to 90s pop culture, let me know, so we can have and I'll definitely throw it into the hat for consideration for future episodes, especially if it's something I'm definitely more than familiar with. But once again, I'd like to thank all of you guys guys for riding out with this, for riding out with me on this journey. Thank you for growing with me as we keep going on and trucking with these episodes in this show. I love doing this show. I love talking to you guys. I love the reactions that I'm getting from you guys. I love being a part of this community. We are in this community together. And even if we disagree or agree on certain things or not, let me know, man. I love having this. The whole point of this entire show is to have a conversation. It's just to start this. This is a forum for both you and me, and that's it. And anyone else who's interested in jumping in. So until then, have a good one, guys. Stay safe and stay blessed. I'll see you next time. Take care.